Hello everyone, my name is Shreya and today I'll be talking about the history of the 16th century. In 2017, it's very hard to imagine what life was like back then. Everything changed from the way of employment to government. Today I'll be talking about some of those major changes. To start off, I will talk about Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth was the long-ruling queen of England. She ruled from September 7, 1533 to March 1603. She was the daughter of King Henry. One thing important that she did in her reign was establish Protestantism in England. Her reign was referred to as the Golden Age. Next, I'll be talking about King James I versus Parliament. He was born June 19th in 1566 and he died in March 27th of 1625. He was the only son of Mary, Queen of Scots. He quarreled a lot with the Parliament over royal finances and other issues. James actually wrote The Divine Right of Kings, which basically stated that kings were as to God's position and that a king could never be wrong. Next, I'll be talking about King Charles I versus Parliament. He was born on November 19, 1600. His father strongly believed that a king's position is of God's. After being throned king, there were already issues with Parliament with him. Puritans in Parliament. In early 1600s, Puritans were still just a small minority in English society. In the 1630s, they dominate the English Parliament. Puritans were highly motivated to see change in the whole church-state equation. Puritans in Parliament went head-to-head against King Charles I over issues of taxation and the representation of the people. Oliver Cromwell in the English Civil War. The Civil War began in 1642. And he was sent to organize the defense of Norfolk. Because he was noted for his skills and bravery, he then became general. He played a huge part in trying to keep Parliament united. In 1653, he marched into Parliament and dismissed the members. It was replaced by Barwon's Parliament, a select parliament of committed Puritans who were elected Cromwell as their Lord Protector. King Charles II and the Restoration. After Cromwell's death in 1658, his son Richard proved that he wasn't capable to be a leader. 1660 is the English Restoration. King James II. He was the second surviving son of Charles I. He rejoined his mother in France in early 1649. He served 4 campaigns in the French army under the great French general, William of Orange and Mary. In 1688, they were invited by the parliamentary opposition to Mary's father James II to take the crown on England and were assured of English support. Glorious Revolution. James fled to France. In February 1689, William and his wife were crowned King William III and Queen Mary II. Parliament passed Bill of Rights, which prevented Catholics from succeeding to the throne, ensuring that Mary's sister Anne would become the next queen. The Act of Toleration. It was on May 24, 1689, and the Act of Parliament granted which allowed their own places of worship. It was a huge step of its time. Lastly, I'll be talking about John Locke versus Thomas Hobbes. They came to very different conclusions about human nature and the role of government. John Locke, on the other hand, said, "All mankind, being all equal and independent, and no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions." This was also stated in the Declaration of Independence in different words, but basically John Locke is stating that you are born with certain rights, but the government is there to protect them. Thomas Hobbes said, "During the time men live without a common power to keep them all in awe, they are in conditions called war, and such a war as if of every man against every man." This basically states that people deserve to be controlled by other people, and that the monarchy is there to control people. All in all these people have truly impacted the society that we live in today. If it weren't for these historian figures, then the world would not be what it is today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.